boys and girls, it's Mrs. Bartell. We're going to be solving unknown factor word problems. Now remember, boys and girls, a factor times a factor equals a product, right? Remember writing that a million times a day? A factor times a factor equals a product. So think about that, boys and girls. We're not talking about add-ins anymore in totals. So this looks like it's going to be like multiplication. And it could also be division. So I'm thinking when we're solving for those, we did a lot of things where we used fast arrays, okay, and equal share drawings. So we'll probably be using those strategies here. Okay, fast arrays will be our friend, and then the equal share drawings, those will be easy too for the show our work. All right, let's look at the directions. Write an equation for each word problem. You guys probably hear my husband working outside. He's building a cat perch for the cat to climb up on, and so the cat doesn't get dive bombed by the mockingbirds. Anyway, so he's building that and he's screwing everything in outside, so it's making a little background noise. Sorry about that. All right, so back to reading the directions. Write an equation for each word problem. Use a variable. Okay, yeah, we're used to doing that. Use a variable to represent the unknown factor and then solve it. Okay, here we go. A toy maker has 36 boxes of toy trains to ship. Okay, so he's going to mail those out to 4 different toy shops. Okay, so I'm thinking toy shop 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and each toy shop's going to get the same number. It says it right here. They're going to get the same number. How many boxes of toy trains will each shop get? So we're taking the total of 36, okay? And we're making equal groups of 4. Remember when we did this, we created a fast array. We're going to count by 4s, 4, until we get here to our total. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36. Perfect. Now we just need to know how many are going across here. So we can label that. Now, boys and girls, this is not the only way we could have done this. We could have drawn like 4 circles and then just done equal sharing and gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way to 36. But that's a lot more laborious than this. This is the easier strategy, I think. So we know that the total was 36, right? We know the total was 36, and they divided that into the 4 shops, and that equals the boxes that each store is going to get. Okay, so how many boxes does each store get? So 4 groups of the boxes is 36. That's another way to write the equation. So, and we solved it right here, boys and girls. How many boxes of toy trains does each shop get? What does our variable stand for? 9. Okay? All right, next problem. There are 56 cars in the parking lot. There are 8 rows. 8 rows. Now, that word rows tells you you must do an array because arrays are rows and columns. Okay? It also tells you there's the same number of cars in each row. Okay? So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And there's a total of 56. So we'll do our fast array. Now, boys and girls, if you don't remember how to count by eights, you would then be drawing these and counting up each time and creating equal rows of 8 until you figured out how many columns there needed to be. Okay, so I do remember how to count by eights because it leaves you feeling so great. We've got 8, 16, 24, 32, I say 40, 48, 56, right? There we go. I numbered them. So now I know how many are in each row. I said how many are in each row. Now we need to write our equation. So we took the 56 and we divided it by the 8 rows, and that left us the number of cars in each row. Another way we could write this equation would be to say that there were 8 groups of cars. And all of those 8 groups of cars is 56. And remember, boys and girls, why we would circle that? Because it's 8, that's how many are in each group, right? So we solved for cars. How many in each row? 7. Okay? All right, an apartment building has 42 apartments. Those are like tiny little houses, but they're all together. An apartment building has 42 apartments. There are 6 apartments on each floor. How many floors are there? So there are 6 on each floor. This is maybe the top floor, okay? There's 6 on this floor. And then there's going to be 6 and 6 and 6 until you get to the ground floor. How many floors? In other words, it's going to be more than a 1-story building. It's going to be more than a 2-story building or a 3-story building. In fact, this building of apartments is probably going to have an elevator in it because otherwise people will be getting really tired walking down those stairs. Okay, so we know there's 42 all together, and there are 6 on every floor. So I'm thinking a fast array is a good way to do this problem. You don't have to do that. You could have done an equal share drawing, but it did specifically say that there's 6 on each floor. And the way my brain is working is seeing that there's I'm actually visualizing in my brain a multi-story building, okay? So we're going to count by 6s until we get to 42. So we'll start with 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, and we're done. And so now we'll number these. There we go. There's our missing. So this is a 7-story complex. Wow. Okay. So for writing our equation, we knew our total was 42, and we divided that by 6 because there were a certain number of apartments, and I'm going to use A for my variable, on each floor. So another way we could say this is this many groups of 6 equals 42. You could have said 6 groups of A equals 42 as well. That's fine. But we did solve for A. There's going to be 7 floors of apartment buildings. Okay, next problem. 48. Oh my gosh, I'm remembering Daniel and Netta's little rhyme that they mentioned to me about 6 and 8. I'm remembering that. I hope you're remembering that. There are 48 students in the marching band, and they stand in equal rows of 8. How many rows are there? There are equal rows of 8. How many rows? So there's going to be a row of 8, a row of 8, a row of 8, a row of 8. How many rows are there? So we don't know. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm running out of space. Let me try to write this a little bit better over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a little bit better. All right. So this is a row of 8. That's one row of 8. We don't know how many rows of 8 there are, but we know that there's a total of 48 students. So I'm going to count by 8s and go this way to do my fast array. So I'm going to count by 8s. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48. There we go. There's our answer. Let's number it. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's our missing variable. Okay, so there are 6 rows. All right, so if we took those 48 students and we put 8 in every single row, that's going to equal the number of rows. Okay, so the number of rows with 8 in each row, oops, I circled the wrong thing. Rows of 8, and I circled that because there's 8 in each row, equals 48. Oops, another mistake. Rows equals, what did we just say? 6. Right? 6 times 8 is 48. All right, so that's how we solve this problem. Now we're on to the back. And let's see, it's more of the same. Daniel is setting up seats for the 3rd grade play. There are 6 seats in each row. And there are 54 seats in all. How many rows? Remember, when it talks about rows or columns, it's going to be an array. So we know there are 6 in each row. There's 6 in this row, 6 in the second row. It's going to be 6, 6, 6 until we get to 54. Okay, so we have to count by 6s. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54. There we go. Now I'm going to number these. There are other ways you could solve this, boys and girls. This is just the way I'm working on it, okay? Remember, you guys come up with a lot of different strategies to solve things. So if we took 54 seats and we divided them into 6 in each row, that's going to give us the number of rows. So the number of rows with 6 in each is 54. How many rows are there? The rows equal 9. Okay? Next problem. Mrs. Martinez is sewing buttons onto 4 different costumes. Each costume has the same number of buttons. There are 32 buttons in all. Now, boys and girls, you could do an equal share drawing for this. You could. In fact, I think since we've been doing arrays on all these, I think I will do an equal share drawing. So I'm going to take her total number of buttons, which was 32, and she's putting buttons onto 4 costumes, right? She's sewing buttons onto 4 costumes. So I'm going to count by fours until I get to 32. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, I'm running out of room, 28, maybe I'll do one up here, 32. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, yes. Now I'm going to go and circle these and to find out how many buttons on each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's going to be 8 buttons on each costume. Okay? So there are 32 buttons in all. She's putting buttons onto 4 costumes. So the 32 buttons divided by the 4 costumes equals the number of buttons on each costume. Okay? Another way to think about this, okay? Another way to think about this equation would be that there are 4 costumes, and each costume has the same number of buttons, and altogether, that's 32 buttons. What number times 4 is 32? And we just solve that over here. 8. 8 buttons on each costume. All right, let's see here. Next problem. The library receives 63 new books. Mrs. Furstenberger, our librarian, will put 7 books on each shelf. How many shelves are there? There's going to be 7, 7, 7, 7 until we get to 63. 7 books on each shelf. 7 on this shelf, 7 on the next shelf. How many shelves? I'm going to do a fast array. So if I'm going to be counting by 7s until I get to 63. 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, 56, 63. There's my answer. Now I just need to number these and I'll find out. There we go. 9 shelves. Okay, so she took the 63 books and she put 7 on each shelf. How many shelves are there? I'm going to use S for a variable. The number of shelves with 7 books on each shelf is 63. What did we say for how many shelves there are? There are 9 shelves. Okay? All right, 72 juice boxes for the class picnic. The juice boxes are in packs of 8. How many packs of juice are there? Well, I think I might do an equal share drawing for this one as well. So there are 72 juice boxes all together, and they're in groups of 8. 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72. Oops, I started counting. Oh, I started doing the count bys. Somebody would have already stopped me by now, huh? Okay, 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72. Do you see how my brain goes, boys and girls? Boy, I can't focus on more than one thing. Okay, how many 8s are there? There are 9. Okay, there are 9. So if we take those 72 juice boxes and we put 8 into each pack, how many packs are there? Okay. The packs are in groups of 8, and that's 72 altogether. How many packs were there? There were 9. So our variable is 9. All right, boys and girls, that was it for today's problems. See you back tomorrow. Stay safe, be responsible. Miss you.